We've lost contact with him up to this point. We've had contact every day. He's gone on his own. I'm not sure what he's doing or who he's talking to, but at this point we're withdrawing as counsel. If he wants us to come back as counsel, he will contact us. We had contact as of, I believe, Sunday. In the last couple of days, he has not returned phone calls or text messages or emails, leading me to believe that I can't go forward speaking to the public about George Zimmerman in this case as representing him, because I've lost contact with him at this point. I still believe that he was acting in self-defense that night. Nothing that I've said about him or this case has changed in any way. I just can't proceed to represent a client who doesn't stay in contact with me.
On Sunday, we lost track of George in that he would not return our calls and we couldn't get hold of him. We had no reason at that time to believe there was anything suspect. But on Monday, we began fielding questions about, did we know anything about the I'm the Real George Zimmerman or the GeorgeZimmerman.com website? And our initial response was, well, that's probably bogus. George hasn't talked to us about that. We don't know about it. So we started making inquiries and frankly confirmed that he, through friends or family, had in fact set that site up and it was legitimate. We immediately began telling the media, disregard the earlier website we gave you that we had set up. Go with the one that we now know that he set up. Cleaner for us. We were happy enough with that, but disturbed that he had not communicated with us. We started reaching out in every way that we knew how to get him. Eventually, the two newest developments are that we learned that he had called Sean Hannity of Fox News directly, not through us, and we believe, I can't confirm this, we believe that he spoke directly with Sean off the record, and he's not even willing to tell us what our client told him. The final straw, if you will, or the final decision-making point was today we spoke with the Special Prosecutor's Office out of Jacksonville. We have been working over the weekend and diligently trying to set up a meeting between Mr. Zimmerman and the Special Prosecutor's Office because, quite frankly, we continue to believe that once that part of the puzzle is completed, given the evidence as we understand it to exist, and given the rest of the facts and the law as we know it exists, that this prosecutor, who's elected not to go with a grand jury, would in fact make a decision. We were hopeful that decision would be to not inform against him and not to seek an indictment. That was our intention all along. We heard today that George had contacted the prosecutor's office directly. One of the things every defense attorney tells his client is, don't talk to the prosecutors, don't talk to the cops. Frankly, don't talk to anybody until we get control of the situation and do it through counsel. We were a bit astonished and had some conversation back and forth with the Special Prosecutor's Office. They are professionals as well. We're impressed with the professionalism of the Duval County State Attorney's Office, Angela Corey's office, Bernie, the others involved in the office up there. And they told us what we expected was, we're not going to talk to a criminal potential defendant or suspect or target of an investigation without counsel. We're just not going to do it. And they told him that. He then called back after some conversation with us and said, that's not a problem. I don't really have any attorneys anymore. Those guys were just my legal advisors. I'm not sure what the distinction is, but in his mind there's a distinction. And at that point in time, with us unable to communicate with our client, with him not taking the advice that we had to just basically don't talk to other people, it's his absolute right to talk to whoever he wants to. And it's his right to choose whatever counsel he wants to choose. And if in the future George were to come back to us and say, look, big misunderstanding, I was under such incredible pressure. You can't imagine what it's like hiding in a room, trying to save your life, treated like a mushroom, for those of you who know the second half of that joke, and not being able to communicate with friends and family openly. I can't go to the grocery store. Perhaps the pressure of that pushed him a little over the edge, and he reached the point where he said, I'm just going to take care of this myself. Whatever his thought process was, he may explain at some later time. Our thought process is that we're professionals. Craig Sonner PA, Hal Uhrig, the defense group, we do this for a living. We try to do a good job of it, but we are not going to put ourselves out to the public as continuing representatives for a client unless he makes it clear to us that he wants us to be his representatives. So for that reason, it's not so much that we're resigning, we're just announcing to you that we can no longer represent him until such time as he may come forward and ask for that help more formally and in a different context than we've had so far.